Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, the only show where we read the news so you don't have to. Mostly because we know you'd rather be outside trying to convince your cousin that a four-wheeler can outrun a tornado if you believe in yourself hard enough. Today, December 9th, 2025, America is doing that thing where it says it wants stability, but also triple dog dares itself to punch a hornet's nest. We got foreign policy that looks like it was drawn on the back of a Waffle House napkin, tech deals that feel like a yard sale hosted by Elon Musk after 3 Red Bulls, and a government so confused it might accidentally fire itself. Let's get into it. Segment 1. The Great Ukraine. You give me this, I give you that. Swap meet. So first up, America's been busy trying to end the Ukraine war with what looks like a used car negotiation, where one buyer wants the wheels and the other wants the steering wheel, and somebody keeps asking who gets the cup holders. Washington and Moscow somehow cooked up a 28-point plan that basically tells Ukraine, "Congrats, you're now the world's largest timeshare dispute." Meanwhile, Zelensky shows up in London holding his own 20-point plan, which is basically the same plan, but without the parts where Ukraine loses, well, Ukraine. Europe's over there sweating like they left their toddler unattended near a chainsaw aisle at Lowe's. You got France, Germany, and the UK all trying to stay united. But it's tough when the United States is out here acting like the world's loud uncle saying, "I say we wrap this up before Christmas. Even I know you don't rush peace negotiations like you're trying to beat the lunch crowd at Cracker Barrel." And Ukraine's like, "How about we don't give up territory?" And Russia's like, "But what if you did, though?" And America's like, "Hear them out." And Europe's like, "Oh, sweet Lord, someone unplug the US before it deletes NATO." This thing's turning into the world's most stressful group project. And America's the guy who wants to skip to the end and write everyone's names on the paper, even though nobody agreed on what the project is. Segment 2. Nvidia and the Great Fine. You can have the super chip if you pay the cover charge deal. Next up, President Trump has decided that instead of blocking China from buying America's best AI chips, he's going to let Nvidia sell them the super-powered H2OHS, as long as China pays a 25% tariff. That's right, folks. The US has officially switched from no chips for you to all right, but it'll cost you. It's like telling a raccoon it can't get into your garbage cans, then charging it $10 to use the good garbage can with the leftovers from Thanksgiving still inside. Sure, it'll pay. It's a raccoon. It knows value. National security experts are having a meltdown so intense you can probably hear them screaming through the insulation. They're saying things like, "These chips can train weapon systems." Meanwhile, Nvidia stock is doing backflips like it just won America's Got Talent. And the funniest part? The H20 chip, the knockoff chip made for China, flopped like a catfish that leapt into a canoe. China didn't want the bargain bin version. They wanted the big one, the real one, the Costco 2-pack of computational chaos. So America's new strategy is, if China's going to get powerful AI anyway, they might as well tip the bartender. Segment 3. Trump fee slaughter, or as rednecks call it, who gets the remote? Now on to the Supreme Court, where the justices are hearing Trump vs. Slaughter, a case that basically decides whether the president gets to boss around every federal agency like he runs a Dollar General on a Sunday rush. If Trump wins, independent agencies like the FTC, SEC, and even the Fed become not so independent anymore, which is a polite legal way of saying, "Hey buddy, you part of the family now." Conservatives on the court seem ready to sign off on this like it's the warranty for a lawnmower they don't plan on reading. Liberals are looking at the ceiling like they're trying to astral project themselves into Canada. Look, I grew up in a family where the unitary executive meant whoever had the remote controlled the universe. And if you lost the remote, boom, chaos. Football game, gone. Weather channel, permanent, static. Somehow now the law of the land. And that's how Washington feels right now. One wrong ruling, and suddenly the whole government's tuned into whatever channel the president's watching. Segment 4. DOJ Revolt. We ain't saying coup, but we're also not saying it. Over 200 former DOJ civil rights folks signed a letter saying the department's been gutted like a deer on the first day of hunting season. They say the Voting Rights Act isn't being enforced, police oversight has vanished, and the Civil Rights Division is now doing things so backward it's basically moonwalking. And on top of that, we got a new lawsuit from FBI agents who were fired for kneeling during the 2020 protests. Not in solidarity, but because they were surrounded and trying to not escalate violence. Now they've sued the government saying they were canned for politics, not misconduct. This whole thing sounds like the plot of a Netflix political thriller, except Netflix might not exist much longer because... Segment 5. Corporate Warfare. Paramount vs. Netflix vs. WBD Common Sense. The media world is having the biggest food fight since the last family reunion, where your uncle yelled that aliens invented yard signs. Paramount Skydance just launched a $108.4 billion hostile bid to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Because nothing says holiday spirit like attempting a corporate takeover financed with help from Jared Kushner and 2 Gulf monarchies. Netflix already had a merger lined up, but Trump popped up like a wizard from behind a curtain and said the deal was anti-competitive, and he'd have a say. Translation: I don't like them, and I like the other guys more. WBD shareholders now have 2 options. Option A: Netflix, a company that makes shows about serial killers. Option B: Paramount Skydance, funded by folks who could buy a small moon. Either way, Hollywood is about to get shaken harder than a possum trapped in a feed bucket. Segment 6. RFK Jr. CDC, and the babies don't need that vaccine policy. So now the CDC's Immunization Committee, stacked with RFK Jr.'s appointees, has voted to stop recommending that all newborns get the hepatitis B vaccine. Instead, they say only babies whose moms test positive need it. Doctors say this policy is like locking your doors only if you think someone's robbing your neighborhood. Rednecks say this is like telling folks you only need jumper cables if your truck already broke down. Experts warn that false negatives happen, tests get lost, mistakes get made, and babies can end up infected for life. This decision could unravel decades of public health progress. Meanwhile, RFK Jr. is somewhere smiling like he just beat the final boss in a vintage Nintendo game. This isn't just a policy change. It's the first stepping stone to rewriting the entire childhood vaccine schedule. Get ready, because the Facebook comments section is about to declare war on biology again. Segment 7. Japan's big earthquake and the miraculously behaved nuclear plants. Japan got hit with a 7.5 earthquake off Aomori, and thankfully the tsunami threat fizzled. But infrastructure damage is everywhere, dozens injured, and the Rokusho nuclear reprocessing plant had a sloshing incident, which sounds like something a toddler does in a bathtub, but is somehow worse. Luckily, no radiation leaks, no anime-style disaster sequence, no Godzilla reboot. Japan's emergency teams handled it like they train for this every day, which they do. Meanwhile, in America, a light snowstorm makes us buy 47 loaves of bread like we're building a carbohydrate bunker. Segment 8. Weather Apocalypse and Miami's Mayoral Showdown. We end with two things Americans love: extreme weather and elections that make no sense. A brutal Arctic blast is sweeping across the country, freezing everything from the Midwest to Alabama. Southerners are putting on jackets they didn't know they owned. Northerners are grilling outside to prove a point no one asked them to prove. And in Miami, the mayoral runoff between Eileen Higgins and Emilio Gonzalez is basically a national Rorschach test. If Higgins wins, Democrats will say the Hispanic shift rightward has slowed. If Gonzalez wins, Republicans will say Florida has officially turned into the free state of Gonzalez. Meanwhile, Miami voters are just hoping someone will fix the potholes that swallow entire scooters. In conclusion, America spent December 9th behaving like a man who tries to fix a leaky pipe by kicking it, tightening it, buying a new pipe, setting the pipe on fire, and then declaring he meant to do that. We've got global alliances fraying, chip wars turning into yard sales, the Supreme Court rewriting the operating manual for the entire government, the DOJ in chaos, Hollywood having a billionaire slap fight, public health being remixed by RFK Jr., earthquakes shaking Japan, and weather trying to turn Alabama into a snow globe. If this is just Tuesday, I can't wait to see what Wednesday does to us. Stay tuned, stay poorly educated, and stay warm. Unless you're in Miami, then stay hydrated.